Patricia, your wealth word is options. Tell us what options means as your wealth word.
When you choose to be an artist early in life, there's no guarantee of income. There's no connection to the corporate world. There's no connection to anything that reeks of stability. So you constantly have to look for options of ways to make an income. And, from waiting tables to bartending to the women's health world, consulting became my real career. That I spent 35, 40 years consulting in the field of arts and healing because I came to it kind of organically. Here I am, an artist. I'm raising two kids on my own, and I needed work during the day when they were in school because before and after school programs were making me even more broke. I discovered that there's this world of arts and healing for elders. And we were at the very beginning of that trajectory back in the 90s. And so not many people, not many organizations were familiar with it. And so I was lucky enough to get some family grant money from the local nursing home and to create this program, an artist in residence program. And we did a 7-year pilot and it went really, really well. So then we took that on the road as a best practice. And that became Iona Senior Services and the Veterans Hospital and several other places. So that was an interesting way to come into a career. I don't recommend it to everybody. It takes a lot of guts and grit to maintain. And there were days when there wasn't much money left in the checking account and rent was due. I always prided myself in the fact that I was able to raise these two girls. They never wanted for anything that they needed. They learned a lot about thrift and how to handle money. We always talked about it. It was never a secret. I didn't want them to be freaked out about it. By their choices and generosity of donors, they were able to graduate college debt-free. So to me, options in wealth is about knowing what your limits are and working within them, but also building in opportunities to find new ways to make income happen. So now I'm at this point where, I have a home, I have two grown children, they're doing quite well. They don't need my money, thankfully. And it's a matter of how do I want to retire? What does retirement look like? Of course, as an artist, you never retire. I may still continue to make art, sell art. I would like nothing more than to have a nice income produced from the art sales. That would be lovely. But as I learned in my early years, there is no guarantee of sales when you're an artist. So you have to always plan for it's not going to happen. And when it does happen, you celebrate.
What a great lesson for the girls to learn early in life, especially for women. That's one of the hot topics I talk about with all of my guests and other ladies of how did you learn about money? Who taught it to you? Did you learn it on your own? Because so many people did, because it's not taught in schools per se in the way that we could be teaching, but from family dynamics. The fact that you did that with them is great. How do you see that they've responded to that with their own lives now?
They are both very creative, but have both chosen career paths that provide stable incomes. So I have a daughter who's now school counselor in the international field. She's in Malaysia and has been overseas for 7 years now. And I have another daughter who's in the corporate advertising world, and she's a top in her field and doing very, very well. It's interesting. They both are natural born gifted singers. My younger daughter actually has a couple of CDs that she made for us over the years. She's a jazz vocalist. My other daughter does really get a lot of pleasure singing with groups. So she'll put together an a cappella group or she'll join a choir for a holiday sing or something. But neither one of them are banking on that career. And I think that's kind of generational. Like I sort of pushed against my family's plans to be an accountant, be an artist. It starts with an A. I was encouraging them to go with the career in music, and they were like, no, I don't think so, Mom. So maybe someday they'll get back to it.
You have options in your lifestyle where you live because, like me, you're allergic to the winter.
It's true. It's true. As soon as the cold weather hits, my whole body shuts down. And I noticed that years ago. And so now I have the pleasure of staying and helping my mom, who's 96 years old, in her place in Florida for the winters. She's up here with me in summers, and then we go together down to Florida. And I can work remotely, thank God. And for now, that seems to be enough. So, yeah, the options are pretty amazing. I don't know that my kids will ever own a home because they've gotten so expensive, but the fact that I have a place that we can all shelter if need be makes me feel good too. So,
Yeah, that's
you know,
such
owning
an
a home in the days when, oh my God, $1,000 a month mortgage payment sounded like this unbelievable attainment.
and now you're talking $4,000 a month.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't know how people do it, but I love to travel. And I would say, well, when I was much younger, I would work to the point where I had enough saved to go traveling and then do my traveling and see where that flowed. And then eventually I would come back to the DC area. There was always work here in DC. I mean, the government bubble, I could always get something. And then I'd work until I could travel again.
I love it. So you've lived your entire life with an option, never quite
Yeah,
knowing
I
that.
guess that's true. That's very intuitive of you. No, I never thought of it that way, but I guess that's true. I guess that's a very privileged thing to say, but I always made my own way. The priorities were travel. I never needed fancy shoes or fancy purses. I mean, that didn't interest me.
Stay tuned and watch part 3 to learn about the happiness word for this interview.
Sylvia Torstein here on Health, Wealth, and Happiness. You're happy to see me again, I see. Huh, look at my fancy background they brought me in this time. I'm loving it. And I went to the museum right over here. There you see it. It's fabulous. So, Miss Patricia, isn't she the artist? You've got to enjoy that. A life being an artist and an artful thinking. I can see that in all the health, wealth, and happiness. I know I am an artist. But her abundance, her flexibility, I love the yoga, you know I do. Her options, life's gotta be full of options. I love living here, there, and everywhere. And then time, creativity time, always. And then the family time, love my family. That's why I take them with me or I don't when I travel. I hope you enjoy this episode. Keep watching, keep clicking the button, because you love seeing me.
Subscribe and click the link below to find out about bonus tracks and how to join our community.